For the past 2 years, Jocko Fuel has been the only supplement I've consumed. It's helped me stay in shape now that my competitive career is finished. If you've been waiting to try Jocko, the wait is over. Jocko has now teamed with Walmart, bringing clean fuel to the entire nation. Jocko Fuel is loaded with all the good stuff and none of the bad. And I'm talking no added sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and absolutely no gray area or banned substances. Just pure, clean fuel to power your performances. Jocko Fuel is now available in Walmart nationwide. Products available at your local Walmart are Jocko Malt, ready to drink, Jocko Malt Powder, and Jocko Pre-Workout. How convenient. Guys, the time is now. Consider trying some of my favorites like Jocko Go and Jocko Hydrate. You can even do it online. Use code CHAEL30 at JockoFuel.com or just stop by your local Walmart and get your hands on some Jocko ASAP. Don't wait, might not last. Fuel up with Jocko Fuel and crush your goals. Now there's no excuse for not having clean fuel. Guys, I want you to go get Jocko Fuel today at Walmart. Every few years I like to retell this same story, but it was season 17 of The Ultimate Fighter. This was my debut in coaching. And there's a man named Kelvin Gastelum. And Kelvin was 20 years old, but at that time, it made him the youngest contestant to ever be on The Ultimate Fighter. And he was the final pick, and he was very unassuming. And he wasn't gaming anybody. He wasn't gaming to be unassuming. He was just being himself. He was just a young guy doing something he really wanted to do. Had a good idea, a good attitude most of the time. But there wasn't anything that you could point to that would single him out for discipline. For example, he was very good at wrestling, but he wasn't this Olympian. He was very good at boxing, but he didn't have a Golden Gloves record to speak of. He was good at MMA, but he didn't have those big name victories. And I just tell you that because I remember telling Kelvin at some point in the series, I remember telling him, I don't know what you're good at, but I also don't know where your weaknesses are. If I was coaching against you, there's not an area of weakness that you have or we would try to encourage the athlete to get you to that spot. And I'd watch him fight more. I'd spar with him myself, and I'd watch him fight more. My opinion never changed. I don't know what you're good at, but I know that you're really good. And the very final day that we have there was the semifinals setting up for the championship match, which ended up being Kelvin versus Uriah Hall. So Kelvin wins, and we're tearing down. We're cleaning out the locker, and we're getting old photographs, whatever it might be, to hit the road, and our experience here is over. And Luke came up to me with Tor, and I said this to Kelvin a few times, and Luke and Tor come to get me, and they go, hey, you've told KG a few times you don't know what he's good at. We know what he's good at. I looked at him. I wanted the answer. He's good at fighting. That was the answer. And it's true. He was good at fighting. Tom Aspinall did an interview. Tom Aspinall was doing a piece, and somehow he came across Dricus Du Plessis. And Tom took a lot of heat as though this was an insult. But it wasn't. And I understood it because I said it to my own guy, and I most certainly did not mean it as an insult. But Tom was talking about Dricus, and Tom said, frankly, I don't know what he's good at. But he keeps on winning. And you know what? I've had that same damn problem with Dricus. Dricus used to train with the South African national team in Greco-Roman. I know a young man, Sam Donovan, who was with the U.S. and trained with Dricus at the Olympic Training Center when the national team got together. I cannot prove that anywhere, and I've made that statement before, and I've had people in the comments section challenge me and say that Dricus grew up kickboxing. And when I go online and I try to find stories about Dricus, I can't find college wrestling, high school wrestling, the pursuit of international wrestling. I can't find it. What I can find is that he lived in Thailand for a while. And if you're in Thailand, you're there to do one thing, right? You're there to run a whole bunch, but they'll charge you thinking they're going to teach you how to kickbox. Not wrestle, not grapple, not MMA, not anything else. And I can find things online where Dricus spent time in Thailand. In fact, I got a really great story where he and Israel Adesanya many years ago worked out one day. And the day that they worked out was actually a jiu-jitsu day. But I can't find anything on Dricus where he was wrestling. I can't find anything about this South African national team. I can't find anything about this Greco-Roman squad. But I got a guy, Sam Donovan, who trained with him. So I'm extremely confident that these things happen, but it's hard to find. I can't find anything on Dricus where he came through Abu Dhabi or had aspirations of Abu Dhabi or went to one of the more local and regional qualifiers for that process. I can't find it. And I do think he's very good at kickboxing, but I would not think he's as good at kickboxing as some professional kickboxers we have. Did just fight on his feet with Izzy Adesanya. Izzy had a record of something around 27-2 in kickboxing. But they still look different. Even though he did just fine on his feet in MMA, he did not look as polished as that. He did not look as polished as, say, Alex Pereira. I would even have to put Surreal Gone into that category. But he does look active. He does look busy, and he does know how to mix it up. And he does make you guess if you're going to try to tackle him or he's going to stay in the open and exchange with you. He's good at fighting. That's what Dricus is good at. And I just understood it, and there was so much pushback on Tom. Like, many people thought that this was Tom Aspinall's heel move. It's about the most negative thing Tom Aspinall has ever said. That's true, if you interpreted it that way. But one of my favorite guys ever, one of my favorite guys to this day, one of the great experiences I've ever had is working with Kelvin Gastelum. And I can tell you, when I told him, I don't know what you're good at, it was not meant as an insult. It was meant as something very new. You're representing something very special. You're a new wave of fighter. That's where it ties into his youth and 20 years old. And foregoing college and going right into mixed martial arts. Making it through this process. Ultimately winning the tournament. The toughest tournament in all of sports. Ultimately getting himself a world title fight in what ended up going down as not only fight of the night where they got the bonus, fight of the year. In him versus Izzy. But one of the things that was so hard to prepare with Kelvin is you might not know where his strengths are. But you're going to have even less of an idea of where his weaknesses are at. And I don't feel that Tom Aspinall did a heel move, speaking about Dricus that way. I feel the same way when I watch Dricus. I don't know where his individual strength lies, but I know when you put it all together, he's good at fighting.